Hi there guys, in this video we're going to take a look at the Alliance Cruiser. Now this was a new ship that was added in 3.2, so it's a pretty recent ship. Unfortunately I didn't get round to posting the video straight away because I haven't been too well, so hopefully you can bear with me. Anyway, so first thing to do is to have a look at this in the shipyard. So please bear in mind this is at Founders World, so there's a 10% discount on everything. So anyway, here we are. The Alliance Cruiser, I would say it's priced around about 22 million. It has a top speed of 183 with a boost of 305. It has 3-2 manoeuvrability. It has around about 20.67 light year maximum range. It has shields of 126 and armour of 540. It has a hull mass of 500 and a total cargo hold of about 120 tons. So that's a quick overview of the stats. So I think the next thing to do is to buy the ship and actually have a look at it. So you can see here the cockpit isn't too bad at all. It's not too restricted on the left. There is a few little bars and things, but nothing there that's going to get in the way too much. On the front you do have a little bit of blockage there, but that shouldn't present much of a problem, and you get pretty much the same on the right as we do as on the left. There are a few little panels and instruments just below your view which are very nice little touches. Anyway, I think the next thing to move on to is the outfitting section. So onto the outfitting section where I can show you what you can fit into the ship, what weapons and so forth. So, like I said, it is obviously split up into various sections. Hard points is obviously all your weapons, utilities, your core internals, and the optional internals. So, if we have a look at hard points, you have got a large class 3 on the top. You've got 2 class 2s, and then finally 3 class 1s or small hard points. I will show you where all those are later in the video. Next onto our utility mounts, so we have actually got 4 of these. This is where you put your kill warrant scanners, shield boosters, chaff launchers, kill warrant scanners, etc. Next into core internal. So the first one is the bulkheads. By default, like you said, you get the lightweight one installed. Then the second one is the reinforced alloy. It's priced about 8 million, but bear in mind there's a 10% discount because this is at Founders World. That is around about 40 tons as well. The military grade composite is the next one at 78 tons, around 18 million. So the next one after that is mirror surface composites, which is again 78 tons and priced around about 46.6 million. Then we have finally reactive surface composites, is around 78 tons. For the reactor we have a class 6, so that will give you around about 25.2 megawatts of power unmodified, which should be quite a bit of power for this size ship. So like I said, I'm going to fit on all this stuff so I can show you what it's like later on. For thrusters we have a class 6. Again, like I said, I'm just going to fit on this. I won't actually modify the stuff as well. For the frameshift drive we have a class 5, which gives you around about 20 light years maximum, I believe. Obviously this is slightly knocked down because of other stuff installed on the ship. The life support we have a class 5. Now these don't really differ too much in mass and price. You really just put in what you like there. For the power distributor we have a class 6. I usually go for the best there because that's one of the most important sections. And finally, as for sensors we have a class 4. Now onto our optional internals. So this is where we fit all our cargo racks essentially. So in the first slot we have a class 6 and then a second one of a class 5. Then we have 2 class 3s and then 2 class 2, and then at the bottom we have 3 class 4 military compartments. Now these are where you fit hull reinforcement, module reinforcements or shell banks. These are the only things you can fit into a military compartment, so they won't allow you to put extra cargo racks essentially. So I think that's it over a quick view. I think the next thing to do is to have a look on the external of the ship and to see what it looks like. So as you can see, this ship does look very similar to that of the others. And myself, I'm not the biggest fan of this design, purely because it does put the engines out quite far from the main body. Like I said, I might just go and show you the difference between this and the Challenger. So I'm just going to do a quick compare between this and the Challenger. So this is how the front of the Alliance Challenger looks like. And finally, this is the Alliance Cruiser. So you can see there isn't a huge difference between the two. I'm going to check out the back of the ship to show you the difference there too. So this is the Alliance Challenger from the rear. And I'll do a slow transition to that of the Crusader. So you can see basically what changed is the tail fin and an extra 2 engines, which is a little bit disappointing to be honest. Anyway, so the next thing to do is to take the ship off and take it for a spin and see how it performs.
Disengage from landing pad. You are go for departure.
Okay, so we got the ship into space. We've got around about a top speed of 209. It looks like also a boost of around about 345, which is not too bad. Anyway, so we're going to just check out the turn speed of the ship in a sec. And to do this, we're going to face the station, which I believe is just behind me now. These turn speeds are only just a rough indication of how quickly the ship's due. I wouldn't use it as anything scientific. So for this, I'm going to face the station and I'm going to do it for the best case scenario. So I've got 4 into the engine and I'm going to put the speed into the blue section. And when I've done all that, I'm going to just see how quickly it turns. So it's looking around about 10 seconds for a complete turn. So all in all, that is not bad at all. So on to the next thing, which is to show you where all the weapons are. So we've got away from the station. Let's show you where all the guns are. Being in mind that I've put a beam weapon into the large hardpoint, pulse lasers into the mediums, and multi-cannons into the small hardpoints. As you can see, they are arranged in a very strange pattern in some respects, that most of them are on the top with one gun on the underside of the ship. So you can see that the medium hardpoint, I believe, is on the underside. The multi-cannons, which are the small hardpoints, are all together at the top. As you can see, they're arranged in a kind of triangle form. These should be pretty easy to show you where they are, unlike some of the other ships, which can be quite confusing. So on this top bit, you can see that we've got most of our hardpoints here. We have the large hardpoint kind of near the front centre. As I just fire it for you, you can see it there. Just behind it we have our medium hardpoint, which is our pulse laser. You can also see that. Next we have 3 small hardpoints, which are arranged again in a triangle form just around the large hardpoint. 1 in the centre, 2 a little bit further back, as you can see here. And then finally our other medium hardpoint, which is on the underside of the ship. So for this, I'm just going to move the ship round so you can actually see underneath it a little bit easier. Like I said, this is the only hardpoint on the underside of the ship, which is pretty near the front of the cockpit, as you can just about see here. So all in all, the weapon placement of them are not in too bad a position. It is a little bit strange having one hardpoint on its own like that. But like I said, it might be useful for turrets or something like that. It obviously depends on your current play style. So anyway guys, that's a quick look at the Alliance Cruiser, which was the new ship added in 3.2. I would say it's not particularly great at trading at 120 tons. Our ships are much more capable. Something like an Asp Explorer would be better. Again, the same is true for exploration, as it's only going to get around about 20.7 light years, I believe, before the engineer modifications, which is not fantastic. You can get something like 50 light years out of an Asp again, so that is more ideal. However, this ship hasn't been designed for them roles, and it's more suited for combat purposes. It's capable at actually launching a fighter, and if you're very competent with those, that could be a really big benefit to you. Myself, I don't use fighters that often, and its weapon placements is okay, but it's not going to rival some of the big ships in the game. Obviously that is because of the price. Overall, yep, it's not bad. It's a bit disappointing. It looks very, very similar to the Alliance Chieftain. I would like to have seen a few more cosmetic changes rather than the tail fin and the extra engine. But I guess it boosts numbers, and it's always interesting seeing more ships in the game. It's just a shame we only saw one ship added in 3.2. Anyway guys, if you have any thoughts or suggestions, as always, please leave them below. If you did like the video, please drop us a like, that's greatly welcomed. And if you haven't already done so, subscribing to the channel also helps me massively. Anyway guys, take care and have fun out there.